to see how the Irish match up against the Aussies, who've been so formidable in this competition so far. Huge win in their first match against Samoa. And the Northern Ireland side, when they last played them, only scored 5 goals. This is how the standings are in Pool A, Australia and Northern Ireland and Samoa, all with 2 points, but the Australians and the Northern Ireland team yet to be defeated. So the Northern Ireland side in the running for the quarterfinals at this stage, because Samoa have lost a match, Sri Lanka have 2 losses. And a huge crowd here supporting the Aussies, even the very, very young ones, the budding netballers of the future. And let's look at the results so far. Fiji going down, surprisingly, to Trinidad and Tobago by 18 goals in the first match on court 1. That wasn't something of a surprise. Fiji led at one stage, but Trinidad and Tobago, with the introduction of Janelle Barker in the second half, blew them away. England started very, very impressively against Barbados, got a bit ragged at the end, but still managed to win 74-42, as they did against Malawi, really, and New Zealand. Well, the Silver Ferns were slick, like their shiny new uniforms. A 70-goal win against the Welsh, 91-21. And on court 2, Samoa just beat Sri Lanka 57-53 in Pool A. In Pool C, Jamaica, big win over Botswana, 74-23, and Malawi will play Malaysia in the other match this evening in Pool D. With me is Anne Sargent, former legend of Australian netball, I should say. I always keep saying basketball. I don't know.
He wasn't really good at that one, so
no.
let's stick with the netball, Pete.
Did you ever play basketball?
Yeah, actually, quick little story about that. Sydney University, I trained as a teacher, and Bob Elphiston, great basketball coach, took us and said, "You're not bad at your skills." And I said, "Thanks, I'll tell the national netball coach."
Not bad. Let's have a look at the Australian lineup. 3 girls who started against Samoa. That's Corletto, Cox and Geitz. And so Norma Plummer not afraid to ring in the changes and bring in the other players.
Yeah, and I think we need to throw out the window the concept of looking for a starting 7 and reading into it. She's very much showing the versatility of this diamond side and has great confidence in their flexibility on court in combination. So exploiting that yet again at another gorgeous line, integrating youth and experience.
Now, this is an interesting lineup because we haven't seen much of them, but Nolene Lennon, their captain, is their inspiration, and their coach, Elaine Rice, has taken Northern Ireland from 19th to 11th over the past 18 months, so they're on the improve. They're a smaller team than the Australians. In fact, they've got one girl, Mason, who's only 5'2". You'll find that they don't match up physically with the Australians, but they play a quick, direct game, I'm told, and it remains to be seen how they do match up against this very tough Australian team.
Well, they toughed it out, even though they're smaller defensively, against the height of the Sri Lankan shooters, so they are able as mobile defenders to get up and hit those high balls, but they will be up against it with the defending world champions in Australia. It is a happy hunting ground, though, here in Singapore for Northern Ireland, because in 2009 they won the Nations Cup, won all 6 of their matches against 4 teams ranked more highly than themselves, so they will enjoy returning to Singapore in this company.
Well, their highest number of goals against Australia in history was back in '85 when you were playing, Annie. 21 goals.
Well, I wasn't responsible for letting them in, but I think, too, you've got to realise Northern Ireland has to fight their way through into an event of this calibre. It's often Scotland that has eligibility, but they are here by rights of their performance, Northern Ireland and Wales, representing the Europe region in World Netball.
And their national youth team reached the top 8 in 2009, so hope for the future for the Irish. Always tough competitors, whether it's in Gaelic football or rugby or whatever the game might be. And there's a kinship between Australia and Ireland, of course, with a lot of immigrants coming out in the 19th century. So the stage set for the green and gold against the green and white of Ireland. Australia playing Northern Ireland, and it's going to be Ireland with the centre pass. Their centre, Lisa McCaffrey.
Judith Groves crosses the court, umpiring top of screen.
And away they go. Let's see how they match up against the Aussies. Hannah Irvine at wing attack. Centre, Lisa McCaffrey, very quick. They'll try and get it into Lennon, who's their star shooter, the goal shooter, but there's a turnover immediately to the Australians.
Lennon, their captain, played in the 2003 World Championship in Jamaica, so a good experience there.
Good pick up by Green. Cox lobbing it into a great target there in Bassett, who didn't miss in her last match. 31 goals at 100%, and she started in the same vein.
And Norma Plummer starting with the 2 talls for this match, showing that, well, Cox, it's hard to argue her as a tall. She has the stature, but she's also incredibly mobile, and we're more familiar seeing her in the back position, but playing her up front gives another string to the Diamonds' bow, and it shows 2 talls in action for them. Kim Green, of course, the start at centre, is one of the best going, but she is there to rest Nat Von Berto's legs as well as fight for a case for herself in that mid-court area. Important, though, that the mid-court's arrested. I think you look at Laura Langman, she's been used heavily by New Zealand in the first 2 days. Norma Plummer used Nat Von Berto for the first 3 quarters yesterday, rested her for the last, and she rests for the start of this one. Lovely drive in the circle from Cox, fires the long bomb.
And it's 3-0 before you can blink.
Pittman starting at wing attack. She was introduced into the game yesterday. It was Erin Bell who debuted at wing attack. Norma Plummer quoted as saying she was really pleased with Bell's debut. Pittman offers a very different style, but she's quick to sight the tall shooter in Bassett, and of course familiar in looking for that. She plays with Imelda Aitken in the Firebirds line.
Australia yet to miss. 2 to Bassett, 2 to Cox, and Ireland yet to score.
Stretching goalkeeper, pass the shot. In please, goal attack, goalkeeper. Yep.
So here's a good chance.
Just a bit too much on it. A nervous shot from Bowman, but Lennon will complete it and puts Northern Ireland on the board.
Contact, goal attack.
Shani Layton at goal defence in just her 3rd cap for the Diamonds. Bassett in her 7th. Pittman just her 4th. It just shows you how young and aspiring these players are for Australia.
And fit. Boy, they look tremendous, the Australians. And they'll keep this up right through the hour of the match.
Australia.
No intensity to the start of this game. I'm sure for the Diamonds, the focus for Norma Plummer has been it may be an easier match, expectations to win. Therefore, the focus becomes on doing the little things well and really reducing the error count. So don't take an avenue to the post that's an easy one just because it's easy. Make sure execution is good, the error rate really low.
A couple of mistakes by Corletto and Pittman. An intercept by Geitz, though. And now a turnover, and Green has atoned for her earlier mistake.
Probably a poor choice by Pittman, then the ball to Green, who'd opened up the corridor. It was a backwards move instead of looking down the court.
Obstruction, defense, penalty.
And a little word then from Pittman to Green, so just the gesture that, sorry, that was my error. Done with now, and Bassett settles for Australia. Bassett 4 from 4, so she starts off as she left yesterday, 31 from 31. She was in scintillating form coming from the bench halfway through.
She makes it look so easy, 192 centimetres. She's certainly not the biggest girl here, but she posts up very well.
Now, and sometimes as a very tall shooter, it's awkward to play on the smaller size defender. They feel like they're in underneath you and almost tripping you up. So it's not always a comfortable field. The test for Bassett, of course, will be big matches down the end when the pressure's really on.
Good feed from McCaffrey into Lennon, and Bowman's shot teeters and finally falls.
Well, it takes an unusual route through the net off the back of the ring. Kim Green using the back door of the centre passes, going through Julie Corletto. Corletto now showing her wares at wing defence, remembering she played yesterday at goal defence with Gerard anchored at the wing.
Breaking goal attack, 3 pass, Australia.
Unforced error then against Bowman. The break on the centre dispossesses Northern Ireland. Very quiet this match. There's been an energy level in the previous matches, quite a physical encounter earlier.
Swish.
On the court, Botswana had a player leave on a stretcher from a heavy clash with Jamaica.
Kath Cox, 3 out of 3, looking good.
Pittman very considered on the feed then, rather than the quick hands into Bassett. She thought about it, swung it out. So they're just finding their timing, the Australian forward line.
5 minutes gone, and Australia already have 10 goals on the board. I thought that was a good trajectory, but Bassett didn't read it.
That's 2 votes from the commentary panel, because I thought it was a good ball too. Bassett just needs to time the attack to the ball, but it was well placed and it was speed out of the hands. Nice recovery though from Australia. The Diamonds now back in possession. Dragging is the footwork call. Very unusual at this level to see any player drag the foot through the landed foot, but that's the call from Teresa Prince, the South African umpire, working bottom of screen, working to the right. Top of screen is Judith Groves from England. It doesn't go down well with the Australian fans. They're seated right behind us in commentary and they love their Diamonds. They're passionate. They'll let the umpire, the coach, everybody else in between know. Ooh, contact call against Laura Geitz. That was beautifully contested.
Yes.
And you can see the pressure of defence over the shot against the Northern Ireland shooters causing havoc. It's putting hesitancy into their rhythm, and a few shots have gone long and been forced. That's a tick to both Leighton and Geitz for good pressure and good versatility in the way they're defending the shot.
Cox anticipating that pass beautifully.
These posts are quite unforgiving in this stadium. They're quite rigid, so a bit too much on the shot means it rings back or rings out, so you almost need to soften the shot, have nice elevation up the top and soft fingers out. Well, Leighton goes hunting. Corletto had an eye for it too. Just opens a little corridor through the middle. It was almost good news for Northern Ireland, but Laura Geitz is the guardian at the back. Last line of defence.
Had a cracker of a game against Samoa. The intercept queen.
Cox meets the elbow of Campbell, who just raised the arm in an unnatural, I think, unconscious effort just to stop Cox's move. Draws the penalty. Nice screen. Cox for Bassett. Screens off the Northern Ireland defender. The discrepancy in the scoreline so early in the match does raise the debate being mounted more and more at the moment of reorganising the format for World Netball Championships. At the moment, as we've stated, 4 pools. The top 4 seeds sit across the top of each of them. 16 teams represented, but there is a big gap from the top few, the top 6 and the bottom. And the fact that the top teams, the top 4 seeds, do not all play each other in progress to deciding a world champion raises the thought that the division should be set into 2 and that the top play everybody, and maybe a relegation delegation process be in place, a little bit more akin to rugby.
Yeah,
so that will be debated well and truly before August, when Sydney will host the 2015 World Netball Championships.
Yeah, they say that they should do it with the World Soccer Cup and the World Rugby Cup because the minnows always get thrashed, but it's the experience of playing against these top sides that's the benefit, I think. So Australia with a 10-goal buffer. 6 minutes to go in this first quarter.
Bassett just a little lost then. She went to offer the screen for Cox, then came off it, then was a little unsure when to take the next channel.
Kim Green anticipating that the player would read her pass. It didn't.
So some defensive pressure from the Diamonds forward line causes a turnover, and Corletto steps up. Good vision there to Pittman. And a screen held, the hold put on by Bassett. In fact, I think that was almost the second phase of that move that Teresa Prince cited. Bassett had held position, then was hit by the Northern Ireland defender, and I think Teresa Prince saw the end, the second phase of it. It's all history now, though. It's regathered by Laura Geitz, who started in good form. She is the guardian at the back of this Diamonds line.
Oh, lost the handle on the ball, flicked it back in, and she got it back in time.
Contact wing penalty.
Well done by Pittman, very quick in reflexes.
Brunton with that left Achilles, left calf heavily strapped.
Yeah,
bright
I noticed.
pink strapping, so
that pink stuff.
Yeah, I'd say there's a gastroc, a little bit of a tear or tightness there.
They didn't have that in your day, Annie.
Oh, strapped up like that.
Not the pretty pink, though.
No,
it's
not
weird
pink.
stuff
Didn't show
they
the
use.
strapping, no, but I need plenty of it now, let me tell you.
I think a lot of it's psychological. 15-3 now to the Australians.
Contact centre, penalty, Ireland, yes?
Oh, misunderstanding then. The call in the defensive circle Both defenders taking one,
Out of court, throw in Ireland.
leaving Lennon unguarded, but she can't convert. They're really struggling at post, Northern Ireland, early on.
Contact wing defence, penalty Ireland. Run is contact centre.
Nice feed from McCaffrey. Finished by Lennon, and it's 4 points to Ireland now. Remember, once they only scored 5 goals in the whole match against Australia, so this is an improvement as Bassett nonchalantly pops another one in
Well,
to make it 16-4.
Northern Ireland have had 9 attempts at post. They've only netted 4 of them, so unfortunately it's a mix of lack of possession and lack of accuracy. Australia have had 17 attempts at post and converted 16, so they're making good use of opportunity of possession in the shooting circle.
Where goalkeeper is.
Leighton and Geitz working very hard.
Australia.
Call goes out from the Australian bench to keep it short, not be suckered into the long floating balls just because it's easy to do, shorten up the game. So a real discipline being asked of the Diamonds to stick to specific
Free pass.
game plan and things they'll need for the more pressured matches.
And outside. Outside.
What? Contact centre, penalty Ireland.
Nice gesture from Kim Green, just acknowledging the little clash, and she stands
Yes,
out.
Ireland.
Over the top of Leighton, Lennon.
So 16-5. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first term.
Vantage wing obstruction. Offside. Free pass. Australia.
So Cox pops it into Bassett. Nice pass.
Ireland.
And Bassett's still 100% at these World Championships. 11 goals from 11 shots.
A
Good
fine
long-range
shot
shot.
from the captain, the most confident of the match for Northern Ireland. They just had a little flurry in goals, the confidence just building in the last few minutes of this first period. Home alone is Bassett. Shooting practice.
Good vision from Green.
Vantage break. Goal attack. Vantage obstruction. Goal attack.
Does the pressure mount when you've got 100% any? You're a great shooter, and in the next game you've still got 100%. You're wondering when the first one's going to miss.
Absolutely. The wait for the first miss to break the pattern is not a happy one.
Australia.
Yeah, as soon as a commentator says he's never missed a putt
Yeah,
from
well,
inside
I'm not
3
saying
feet,
anything.
they miss him from 2
I
feet.
am lips tightly sealed for Bassett.
Well, she's still carrying on. 31 in the first game against Samoa, now 14 in this game without a miss. Mind you, the passing has been terrific. She's right under the post.
Australia playing off the body. They pulled off tight one-on-one marking and setting up a offline defence. Bit of a diamond set, working as 4.
Nice work between Bowman and Lennon to dish it off.
Smart offload. They sensed that the Australian defenders were so committed over the shot there wasn't the flexibility for the second phase.
Yes. Vantage obstruction wing.
Vantage obstruction, we defend. Vantage contact centre. Vantage ball, contact on face.
Noeline Lennon now 7 from 11, so she's really warmed to the task, the Northern Ireland shooter, and we've seen a confidence build over the last few minutes. She's come home with great accuracy.
How many did the Silver Ferns get in the first quarter? Was it 28?
28-2.
Good Lord.
28-2.
That's amazing. Well, they've thrown down the gauntlet to the Aussies. It's like everything you can do, I can do better. And there's always a lot of bragging going on between Australia and New Zealand, whatever the sport may be.
There's always so much interest from the fans in watching the scorelines in these prelim matches, but it just means little. If anything, it makes your leg weary running up and down that much in the scoring frenzy. It means nothing when the two big guns come together. And that'll be addressed by Northern Ireland in the break and fine-tuned by Diamonds coach Norma Plummer, but a pretty healthy start for the Diamonds. 22-8, they go to the break.
With Bassett scoring 16 goals without a miss and Cox 6 out of 7. Australia way on top at the moment at the end of the first quarter.
Identified.
Victor Rovner requesting permission to transmit.
Log in.
Ma, you gotta come get us. Kim, what's wrong? Are you still at the party?
Permission granted.
I'll update you in an hour. Yes.
1 hour?
Yes, fine. Terry.
Jack, I need you.
I gotta find out who sent these guys.
By the end of the day, an attempt will be made on David Palmer's life.
Who's behind it? Whoever broke in this card is involved with the hit on Palmer.
My dad is a government agent.
The file on the keycard definitely came from Nina's computer.
Who are you working for?
I work for you. Mom, you gotta come now. Kim!
We're trying to keep you alive, Senator.
And I'm trying to win an election.
24. From the very beginning, 8:30 every Monday. Jack's back on 1.
I don't just love sharing meals of San Remo pasta. I love sharing pasta secrets too, like San Remo's fresh strozza pasta with chunky bolognese sauce. It's really fancy and takes just minutes. But here's the real secret. For a professional finish and flavour, simmer the cooked pasta in a frying pan with the sauce. It's deliciously easy. Look for San Remo's fresh strozza pasta and chunky bolognese sauce at your supermarket, because we all want the best for our family.
1980, he built the wall with Pink Floyd. 1990, he tore it down in Berlin. Now, 2012, he returns with his masterpiece of rock theatre. Roger Waters, The Wall. Rod Laver Arena, Tuesday, February 7. All the songs from the legendary Pink Floyd album. Tickets on sale Monday, July 11 through Ticketek. Roger Waters Live, presented by Michael Copeland, Gold 104.3.
Every curve, every contour, every hair. Philips Senso Touch 3D, our most advanced shave yet. Try the Senso Touch 3D with gel for the ultimate shaving experience.
And this is a Stratco V8 supercar, driven by David Reynolds. Expert hands only, thanks, mate. Oh, whoa, nice Stratco garage. I tell you what, with a garage this big, you can start up a collection of your own.
Dextro Energy, the new performance nutrition range for endurance athletes. Carbo mineral drinks are hypertonic for the fastest hydration, plus essential minerals. Carbo bars contain an optimum carbohydrate mix for fast and sustained energy. Tabs provide immediate energy, plus vitamins and minerals for muscle performance. Dextro Energy Sports Nutrition Range. Bring out your best.
So the Aussies back onto the court. That's the lineup for Northern Ireland on court now with Tona. Have a look at her legs. She's very toned. She's very fit, the goal defender. Aptly named. And O'Hanlon in the centre. Centre pass from Green gets things going. Can they maintain this scoring rate? It'll be up around the 100. The first long range shot, if you can say long range, about half range shot, and Bassett nails it for her 17th. Bowman lobbing and looking for her shooter, and that's Lennon. She should nail this one. She does. She's been a terrific player for Ireland. She started in the national team at the age of 16. She's now 27, so very experienced.
I think these two countries come to this international court from such different backgrounds. For example, Elaine Rice, their national coach, is part-time in the position. She's actually senior lecturer at St Mary's University College in Belfast, so the weight of a full professional role as well as coaching a national side just shows the difference. Norma Plummer, of course, a professional coach, full-time position, and no doubt far better supported in facility and resources than Northern Ireland.
Defence outside penalty.
O'Hanlon. Straight to Lennon.
A 2-on-1 for Laura Geitz, and so naturally the two shooters operate to split and offer different moves.
So they've reached double figures, Northern Ireland. There've been a few games against Australia that they haven't. What a roar from the crowd as that pass comes flying into Cox.
A good save for Cox. She had very little room to work in, and she leapt high and was well aware of having to place the offload before she landed. So smart work from the Australian vice-captain.
Bassett keeping on. 19 goals without a miss. Lennon gaining in confidence. No, it's turnover.
Yes. Vantage obstruction.
Geitz to Leighton.
Vantage obstruction.
The Australians using the full breadth of the court. Corletto. Popped out to Green. Looking for Bassett. Finds her, but she's lost the handle on the ball. Good defence from Northern Ireland.
And it wakes up the crowd. Lovely touch from front position on a ball that deserved better placement, albeit, but it was well read by Northern Ireland, and it brings the crowd to life.
Turner, deliberate contact.
Defence. Yes.
It's more like a charge in basketball, that.
Nice ball, Pittman on to Green, and you see the circle being left, the post being left for Bassett to work. Cox leaving lots of room.
She's got 20 of the 26 goals for Australia, Bassett.
Cox playing quite high as goal attack at the moment. Puts the drive on now to the base, working baseline. Bassett, though, just sneaking herself back, not paying the same courtesy by separating the defender away from Cox's move.
Makes it look easy, Kath Cox, doesn't she?
So nonchalant, but gosh, she's a lovely athlete and very positive person, wonderful in the side, deserving the vice captaincy she's been afforded by Norma Plummer for this World Championship event.
What's the loss of Cheryl McMahon meant to the team? Is it difficult for someone to captain the side?
The loss is incredible. It's a huge loss to the Australian side, but having said that, and it being felt, it was moving on from there. It's her on-court play. She is a warrior, and she's just an amazing athlete. So they credit the loss. They know it will be a much different line with a little bit more dimension to have her. Having said that, Norma, I know, is thrilled with the way the team has stepped up to rally around that and create new combinations. And Nat Von Berto stepping into her shoes as Diamonds captain, a very, very worthy recipient of that great honour that so few receive. She is a tireless worker and a real team player. So there's good leadership within this side that are outside captain and vice captain as well. We mentioned Gerard in yesterday's match. And I think a sense of everyone of 12 and beyond, even to the staff and the medical staff, owning the responsibility of seeking this goal and fulfilling it.
We've been talking about Bassett and her shooting, but Cox just quietly has only missed once with 8 out of 9. Australia racking up the goals at a great rate, 31-10.
Well, they've scored the last 7 on the trot. The Diamonds going for number 8 at the moment as Leighton offers a drive, attacking down court. They just held up across the midline. Bassett on a rare lead out, so they've just changed leads, the Australian shooters. Cox working the back. Bassett at times, you can see when she is out and on lead, is a little uncomfortable at picking the pathway and the channel to re-enter. Comes with experience. It's not often they put her out away from the post. Catherine Cox, though, being asked to play that forward role and knows full well that she may be put out there in one of the pressure matches, albeit with Methurst or Bassett.
Far side, Ireland. Yes.
Good pressure from Catherine Cox. That's it. Oh, contact call. My heart was out there for a fellow goal attack. I thought she was going to come up with an intercept. An impressive stat for a forward.
She's the oldest in the team, Kath, but certainly one of the fitter ones.
Most experienced. This is her 88th cap for Australia.
Bad luck. Turn over to Australia. Geitz. Corletto. Green. Quick handling. Leighton. Cox. She's lost it. Australia now putting the pressure on in defence. Pittman almost getting it. Now let's see if Ireland can get into the circle. Bowman too heavily marked, so kick back out to Irvine. And Geitz deflecting it.
Put on the line from the throw-in, so an unforced error from Northern Ireland. In the process of playing that ball, she'd stepped on court, on line, being deemed to be on court in playing it. So throw-in to be taken by the Diamonds. Leighton again attacking. She's a workhorse in attack. Shani Leighton should be relishing the opportunity. Versatile across all three positions: keeper, wing defence and goal defence. Nice haul in from Caitlin Bassett. Nice, strong, sticky fingers. And she continues on her winning way. 24 consecutive goals. Not a miss for Caitlin Bassett.
And the Aussies scoring the last 9 goals as they reach 33-10.
I know Norma Plummer's asking of her 12 Diamonds for seamless transitions to maintain the scoring rate no matter which line is put out there, as well as keeping the turnover count down. I was just looking at the turnovers, 18 turnovers. That could be a little tighter. It's a game that does lack rhythm, and I think that's because of the discrepancies in experience and style between the two, but it does lack a little rhythm.
It's sometimes hard to play at a high standard against a team that's much inferior in ability. And just by the way, the highest score ever scored by Australia against Ireland was 93 goals in the very first World Championships in 1963. So that's a bit of a target for a record for the Australians today. They almost got a record in the game against Samoa where they scored 81 goals.
Don't often see what just happened then. O'Hanlon having no perception of the sideline in taking receipt of that ball, landed a good metre off the court. And they work so hard at knowing the dimensions and getting a feel for the width and length of the court, and it's centimetre perfect precision. As was that pass by the floorboards to the vice captain, and she finishes beautifully and has a little word for her offsider. Catherine Cox just setting up the space between them, a little bit of support with the younger Caitlin Bassett, communication.
We almost got taken out there as O'Hanlon took out the umpire and almost 2 of them landing in my lap.
I'm relying on you for the block here, Peter. I'm okay if the ball's coming. I can put the hand out and probably take that one. But any of the blocks, it's you. Step up.
I'll take a hit for the team. That's okay.
Good touch. Nice combination. Good support from Shani Leighton.
Yes.
Laura Geitz has been very steady at the back of the line, doing exactly the job.
And she's up against a pretty good competitor in Lennon. Some good matchups here. Bassett beautifully placed, her 27th goal.
Pretty well shooting practice for Caitlin Bassett.
Contact, goal attack, goal third.
What was your highest tally in an international match?
No idea.
Oh, come on.
I don't even know if we've got the archives. We're blowing dust off a few books to find it.
I thought it'd be sticking in your mind.
I've got no idea.
Like a golfer would always remember their lowest score. I thought, no, gee. There's Lennon. Good little intercept.
Yeah, sense of urgency then in the North Island forward line.
Brunton, O'Hanlon, Bowman.
And just for a moment, the Australian defenders in chase position. To be honest, I think they were a little stunned at the call on Catherine Cox, who went for contact using the elbow. She was actually playing through on the pass. So they just caught the world #2 and defending champions in disarray for maybe a second or two, and Cox sorts that out.
Beautiful
No
pass.
fuss, shooter-to-shooter play. The hands go up from Kim Green and applaud the vice-captain. Bassett too. Pittman not letting that one go, and the hesitation just making Australia back play, and now they're dispossessed. So I'm sure there'll be some talk at half-time about letting the ball go. The quick release, keeping the speed on the ball, allowing the rhythm to continue to build.
To give you an idea of the disparity between the shooting teams, 67% Northern Ireland shooting percentage. Australia, 97%. They've only missed one shot.
And 20 more opportunities at post, so it's not happy reading the stat sheet for Northern Ireland. Australia 22 in the first quarter, just under 4 minutes remaining. They put up 16 in this, so they could work to push that along in the last few minutes. It'll be a comparable scoring rate.
What do you think of Northern Ireland? I mean, we haven't seen them for 21 years. They get precious few opportunities to play against Australia.
I think they're just lacking the physique to match it with the top 4, and that probably comes from their pool of players. Certainly the level of the speed of ball in the organisation, not comparable. But, you know, the effort, the heart, all those things you applaud and love, and they're just giving it their all.
They certainly never give up, the Irish, whatever sport it is they play. We saw that terrific battle there between Bowman and Geitz.
When you consider, though, the depth of netball, the numbers and the depth played in Australia and New Zealand and England, you know, the level of competition, like at rep level, at district level, it's far superior. So very difficult for Northern Ireland to step up against that, and the resources, as we touched on earlier. Reverse pivot from Kim Green, goes back to go forward, look to the circle. Bassett not offering a strong hold, but Northern Ireland coming off her, hunting for the ball, leave her home alone. They're just not quite sure how to contest the height of Bassett.
Oh, bad luck for Tana. She was looking for Lennon. Instinctive pass, but she wasn't there.
And I think the difference playing against, say, Sri Lanka with the towering shooter and contesting that, the speed of entry ball, so different in this game, where you have not just the height of a player, but the speed and the brilliance of the players in front, able to work the angles, work the ball, release it so quickly.
The Cox-Bassett combination again, but contact this time. So Tona brings it out.
Northern Ireland kept just 4 goals in this quarter. That will please Norma Plummer, the defensive effort to contain them and halve their scoring rate from the first quarter.
Northern Ireland.
Hanlon working hard in the centre, setting up that pass for Lennon, turning defence into attack.
Advantage, offside, centre. Keeper obstruction, penalty.
No, that was a good move from Bowman. Last time she tried to do it all on her own and toppled over and lost balance. But that time wisely dishing it off to Lennon, who now has 12 from 17. Bowman has 1 out of 4. And Cox is shooting beautifully too. That's her 13th out of 14 shots.
Beautifully read by Shani Layton. The set up beautiful in the Diamonds back line, well supported in the front by Green and Corletto, and the crowd and the coaching staff can't believe that she's denied that intercept. Just delightful anticipation and great speed out there.
She's dynamic, isn't she, Shani? All energy. Here she goes again. But unfortunately, Green couldn't get the handle on the ball. To Lennon, Irvine, Bowman.
And another touch. She just won't be denied, Shani Layton.
Goal defence. Thinker.
That's interesting that she's setting Layton on the shooting arm side of the player taking the penalty. More often you want them to be on the non-shooting arm side to free up the space for the person taking the penalty. But Teresa Prince quite pedantic at setting Layton.
How many beautiful passes have we seen coming in from Cox to Bassett, and Bassett continues on. She's now reached the number of goals she had in the first match against Samoa, And we're only at half-time, so how many will she get for this match? She might be rested. But Australia doing it very easily, 43-13, and they've only missed one shot at goal in the match. Welcome back. 43-13 at half-time. Australia led by 22-8 at quarter time. And here are the stats. Australia shooting at an unbelievable 98%.
Gotta love that. That'll bring a smile to the shooting specialist coach, Nick Cusack. She'll be delighted with those numbers. The attempts for Australia just show that their scoring rate has been pretty consistent. First quarter to second quarter, they've maintained the rate. What's been impressive for them as a defensive unit is that they've contained Northern Ireland in the second quarter. Northern Ireland posting 8 in the first quarter and just the 5 goals in the second. So really tightening the screws defensively were the Diamonds. Shani Layton started to really pluck some ball out towards the end of that second quarter. Was denied once by the whistle, but she's been very consistent and very willing for Australia. Guys like a brick wall at the back for the Australian line. And Bassett, well, as we said, 31 without a miss yesterday in the back end of the game, and for the first half of this one, again, 31 without a miss. Usually on the back move, taking the ball behind it, turning and shooting always within a metre of the post.
She has an advantage of 14 centimetres in height over her opponent, Gemma Gibney, so that does help.
And in new combination with Catherine Cox, the Australian vice-captain, well supported there. Cox, such an experienced campaigner, playing in her 88th international for Australia. More used herself to the back position of goal shooter, so when that happens, you often get the two of them fighting for baseline and mid-circle position, but Cox really working the sideline, leaving it open for Bassett, giving her the room, splitting the defenders. So it's been a bit of a shoot fest for Caitlin Bassett, and she looks like she's loving it in just her 7th match for Australia.
Would you leave her on, or would you change the lineup like Norma Plummer did in the first match against Samoa?
I think we'll see rotation from Norma Plummer. I think she wants to keep all players alive, so to speak, and in touch of the game, not sitting off for too long. Paramount will be the careful management of the captain, Nat Von Berto, in the leg work she'll have to do. So she was rested in the first half. Expect to see her get a touch in the second, but I think we'll see the others introduced.
Well, there's not too many fans there for Northern Ireland. There's about 500 in the Australian camp, so they're outmatched in every department. Laura Geitz works very hard, doesn't she? She's very good at intercepts, supremely fit.
Well, she's been very steady at the back of the Australian line in this match, really offering control and good communication with the forward defenders.
So Australia with a 30-goal lead at half-time.
You're still the only one.
Well, welcome back, and the score at the moment, 43-13 to the Australians, who are in formidable form against the Northern Ireland team, who they haven't played for 21 years. It's certainly an education for the Irish against this Diamonds combination. Here's the Australian lineup, and Medhurst, Bell, Von Berto, Gerard are coming on as fresh players. So 4 changes.
Yeah, so Australia going from playing 2 talls in the shooting circle to 2 smalls in Medhurst and Bell. So we'll see some movement and rotation from those shooters. Green moves back to wing attack. She teams up with the Australian skipper. Von Berto coming on at centre. and Gerard takes wing defence. Coletto moving across the line to goal defence. So we're now looking at the defensive combination that started the match against Samoa yesterday. So Norma Plummer being quite smart in introducing changes and rotating the line, but keeping a thread of consistency there at times. Northern Ireland too, with several changes to their line.
Deborah McCarthy coming on at goalkeeper, and Una McCulloch, I love that name, Una McCulloch, at wing attack. They're the two changes. They've certainly been forced to work hard against the Diamonds. So it's interesting that Caitlin Bassett's been taken off, because she scored exactly the same score in both matches, 31 goals against Samoa at 100%, and did exactly the same in this match.
Norma Plummer also really looking at the quarters, the amount of quarters they're playing. Nat Von Berta with 3 quarters yesterday is getting more of a rest today, so that work-rest ratio being factored in by the Diamonds coaching staff. Kim Green, who was rested extensively yesterday, only got a touch for the final, running most of this. Erin Bell takes the court.
Nat Von Berto starts proceedings in the third quarter. Out to Bell.
In just her second cap for Australia, debuting yesterday, Erin Bell against Samoa. Played both
so
wing
well.
attack and goal attack. Came back on that final quarter at goal attack, and they're still keeping her in touch of that. She's another option at that forward position in goals.
Collar trying to get it to Hanlon. As so. Into Bowman. Now to Lennon. Pretty awkward take, but she got it.
Big sigh from the crowd as Julie Coletto misses that intercept by a smidge of a centimetre.
Well, that's the only win that Ireland's had. They've been the first to score in the third quarter.
Just inside. Yes.
Interesting thing about these Irish girls, I looked at their profiles, and nearly all of them like playing, at least watching, but a lot of them like playing Gaelic football. That is a mad sport. It's so brutal.
Don't tell Gerard, because she'll try that too. Eh?
The Irish play a lot of mad sports, I think. Hurling, Gaelic football, you name it, rugby.
Beautiful drive from Nat Von Berto to get circle edge, feeding position,
speed.
a lightning hands. Von Berto and Medhurst, two of the greatest exponents in the game of great timing and quick hands.
Both players.
Wow, that was good to watch.
And the trick in a play like that is that Erin Bell recognised it and just drew her defender slightly. Otherwise, she gets in the way of that transitional play, of that beautiful lightning passage.
And I suppose
good
for
awareness.
Nat Medhurst, she's not really used to posting up like that. It's changed for her. She normally shoots from out of the circle.
Well, she now needs to consider the game Cheryl McMahon played last year at Commonwealth Games. She was moved from goal attack back into the circle to use her beautiful speed concisely and effectively in a small space. That's now what's asked of Medhurst. Use that lightning speed, but contain it.
Because you get used to your usual... Oh, there's a nasty knock for Lennon. Copped one in the ear. She's an inspirational leader of the team. It looked like it was even the backside of her own teammate. Bowman.
It's a neck that she's grabbed. She did clash with Bowman. Yeah, they clashed quite heavily, and a bit of a whiplash effect for Nolene Lennon.
There's quite a few hip and shoulder charges, subtle ones, I might add, in this sport. Where girls suddenly fall to the deck, and on the replay you notice someone just dropped the shoulder or the backside.
Hence the task, the daunting task for an umpire. Yeah, Julie Coletto, I think unintentionally riding up the back. She clashes into that player, trips over the top, but she was drawn in by Bowman, who was making the lead towards her teammate, drew the defender with her, and then just a clash of bodies. Some fine tuning going on in the Diamonds camp.
I might just say, to be fair, the population of Northern Ireland is 1.7 million. The population of Australia, 22 million. How many netballers are there in Australia?
Oh, exactly. That's my point earlier. When you look at the numbers playing and the depth, the tiers of competition, the structure of player development, it's incredible that Northern Ireland could contest the match. And also the legacy of winning. You cannot discount the legacy of being a diamond and the expectation of making podium at World Championships and usually of winning. So that tradition counts and goes a long way. Step into the uniform, you live the dream.
Bowman.
Obstruction, goalkeeper, pass the shot.
Laura Geitz with a cheeky little challenge after closing the distance.
And Northern Ireland get a precious goal that takes their tally to 16. They don't want to have that record low, which was 21 goals.
This drive from Medhurst onto the ball.
Contact, watch offside, swing.
One top, one working base.
Obstruction, keeper, penalty.
See Erin Bell screening out the other defender to protect the shot for her teammate.
That's the sort of range that Medhurst is very comfortable in. We saw it so many times in the Trans-Tasman Series and the ANZ Championship, where she plays for the Queensland Firebirds, who won the competition undefeated. So she was one of the stars.
Well, naming rights for these 13th World Championships, of course, Mission Foods, and how good would they feel? They also are the naming rights sponsors to the Queensland Firebirds, so they've enjoyed a stellar year and really are investing great support in the sport at many levels.
Good to see Queensland finally break through after being the Cinderella state for so many years. Like when they first won the cricket, the Sheffield Shield. After 68 years, they finally won the Shield, and then they couldn't lose.
Well done by Northern Ireland. They read the deception from Nat Medhurst. They knew that she was drawing their eye to the pocket, to the feet, and was going to swing it back to Bell on the base, and they wouldn't budge. They wouldn't be drawn. A head down then, though, lets them down, and it's sighted by Nat Bomber, who whips the ball into Bell. As soon as you see a head down on a defender, you try and part the hair with that ball.
Bell's got 1 out of 2 so far.
Range obstruction, goal attack.
Good touch.
Ooh, ambitious pass.
Good touch from Geitz.
Here's Mania Gerard, who celebrated her 50th cap yesterday against Samoa.
Gerard won't be happy with that cross-court ball. It lacked touch.
Vantage, goal shoot, obstruction.
And a defender knows, absolutely knows the letdown that one of their teammates has drawn the intercept and turned ball over for Australia, that the pass on the outlet lets them down and waste that possession. It hurts even more.
Contact centre, edge of circle.
So difficult for the Irish to pass to one of their shooters because the defence is so tough.
And very clean. They're very off the body. I think our viewers could hear through our cans the collective groan from the Australian fans that are an absolute wall of green and gold behind us. Is this northern or southern, this end, Pete? This end, our end of the stadium. Anyway, they're just a wall of fans, and they read that and the disappointment at Australia being disallowed that touch in defence.
That question's too hard for me. I'm indoors.
Yeah, I saw from the blank look on your face. We'll come back to geography tomorrow. We'll research that one and we'll get back to you on it.
I'll try most answers, but not that one. Bell.
Fakes the offload to Medhurst, goes to the post herself. Well done, Julie Coletto. Good inside position, committed to getting that ball. Drives it down for Australia.
Once again, Green and Medhurst the 1-2. And Medhurst loves that shot. 48-18.
Time call by the umpire, but by the umpire, a malfunction on the wiring system, I think. And it's not on screen, the picture, but let me just tell you, Gary Burgess from England, the reserve umpire, ran from his seat midway down court and adjusted and held. Whatever the malfunction was, he assisted Teresa Prince, which drew a lot of chuckle and laughter from the fans. He saw it as quite an intimate moment.
It became a wardrobe malfunction, didn't it?
I don't know whether it was bra strap or technical equipment, but we'll research that later too. We're going to be busy after the game, Peter.
We're having some fun here. It's great. Very entertaining. And these fans, they're terrific. We can hear them behind us, and they're having a whale of a time. They're all about the place in Singapore, having a lovely holiday, as well as watching some World Championship netball.
I do have to say, as invested as they are in every decision, they're part coaching, part umpiring, part barracking. They're also stepping out to support some of the lower ranked teams and watching the whole range of style and level of netball on offer. from these 16 sides contesting these championships, and they're here from dawn till dusk.
I've just got one criticism. They've got to get a song. The Kiwis had a song.
Kiwis, they do like a show, the Kiwis, a little more harmonious than us. Just sit back. When we get to finals time, there'll be something. There's a lot of dancing going, and I think we're better known for our dancing than our singing.
Be plenty of dancing after this game, I would imagine. Australia are just racking up the goals. 48 to 21. Still 7 minutes 40 to go in the third quarter. Oh, great lead from Geitz. Copped one in the cheek from the centre.
Yeah, I think it was an advantage call from Judith Groves. Good patience on the outlet ball. A nice drive from Corletto. Just taking their time and checking where the bodies are, sorting out the angles. Nice split from Bell. Gives her a closer range shot. Also draws the obstruction call. She's so quick on the feet.
And that from Berto, who was the player of the match in the first game against Samoa. Again featuring in that lead-up.
Got my money on Geitz at the moment. Bit early to call it in this one, and the call is out of my hands, but I think she's had a very serviceable game at the back end for Australia. From 5, so a pretty split workload there.
Well, the challenge was thrown down by their predecessors, wasn't it? Exactly. Only one goal missed in the whole of the first half by Bassett and Cox.
Bit of healthy in-house competition in the Diamond shooting camp.
Oh, lovely turnover. Geitz again gets the intercept.
Quickly down court, the Australians. Some light, quick hands out there now for Australia. It's very subtle.
Like a thief in the night, Laura Geitz.
Kim Green, a great defensive attacking player, really smothers Northern Ireland then and holds up their centre pass. Again, Geitz, Gerard, if anything spoils it for her, gets in the way.
And look at her handling. She's dwarfed by Geitz. She did really well there. So 23 goals now for Northern Ireland.
A better quarter from them, though. They've posted 10 goals in this third quarter. 8 in the first, just 5 in the second, so their scoring rate a little better.
This is the most goals scored by Northern Ireland against Australia in a test match, believe it or not.
Advanced penalty keeper, obstruction. Advance. Goal shooter. Advantage, obstruction, win.
Contact Australia centre, penalty Ireland. Where centre is, please, Ireland, yes.
Geitz again.
Contact or attack, penalty Australia.
And isn't it great you get to say with monotonous regularity when it's your goalkeeper?
Wow.
What a great thing to be able to say about it. Intercepting with monotonous regularity. She's having a fine game at the back. Mind you, when Norma Plummer brought on Furman and changed the combination up yesterday, it also was to great effect. So some lovely headaches, as we say, for the Diamonds coach, Norma Plummer.
You can't say it's a physical thing because Nolene Lennon is exactly the same height, 186 centimetres as Laura Geitz. So it's just the great athleticism, anticipation and reflexes of Geitz.
Great rebound from smallest player in the circle. Nat Medhurst timing it well. Puts up her 6th shot. She remains on 100%, so she is picking up the challenge left by Bassett. Scoring rate just a fraction down for Australia in this third quarter, but that comes with the legacy of changing to moving shooters. They have to work harder to find the spaces as opposed to the target shooter of Bassett, where you know where you're throwing that ball. Great shot, fine shot. Hands go together. Medhurst picks up some leadership and encourages the team to drive it on.
And that was Geitz's 7th intercept of the match.
Advantage, offside, centre.
Quick transition by the Irish this time. Good pass.
Obstruction, wing defence.
Lovely work getting the ball down to Lennon. Can she finish it off? She
good
can.
Shot,
That's
that
their
was a
best
solid
play
lean.
of the game.
Solid lean by Geitz over that shot. So she did well to shoot through the Australian keeper.
Contact centre, centre third.
Oh, says Nat Von Berto, I thought I had it. She felt clean, she had good position, she thought she'd held off the body.
I thought she gave her a thick ear.
Contact goalkeeper, pass a shot. Yes.
Bowman has struggled with her shooting, 3 out of 7.
Obstruction, goal shooter, penalty.
The whistle really starting to disrupt this game in that the amount of whistle is really denying them the rhythm.
Laser-like passing by the Australians. Good vision.
Oh, great vision by Green. Good deception. That was beautiful play down court. The Australian skipper, Nat Bomberto, integral in setting that up.
Something on the court.
Well, it's the other umpire, Judith Groves, calling time this time. A bit of tape or something on the court had been dropped. The players started to walk because some of the Irish players thought it was three-quarter time, only seconds out from it.
They were hoping it was three-quarter time. 60-24, time for another shot, 16 seconds.
And
Brunton.
the distraction has broken Medhurst's winning streak, her consistent shooting streak. She's now had one miss.
Crowd didn't like that call. There's still time for the Irish. 1 second.
Offside wing attack, front of circle. (17-11) it was in that quarter. So well done, Ireland. They really came back at the Australians at the end of the third quarter. The Diamonds lead by 60-24. So we were talking about records before, but well done to the Northern Irish girls. I say Ireland are never easy to beat in any sport, and they've shown a lot of grit and determination to come back into this match. They're not going to win it, but they can hold their heads high because they've scored more goals against Australia than their predecessors since 1963 when they first played against Australia, when they had 93 goals scored against them and could only score 5. So this is comparatively a much better performance. Looking at the stats, Australia 94%. That percentage has dropped from the half-time where it was about 97. Northern Ireland 67. And the intercepts, look at those. 14 to the Australians, 5 to Northern Ireland. Geitz in particular working brilliantly has got half of those. The turnovers, well, there's been a lot of them, and the pace of the game has slowed somewhat. The excitement certainly, Annie, I thought slowed down in that third quarter.
Yeah, it did. It lacked a bit of rhythm, and I think we made reference to the fact that the whistle was disrupting the pattern of play for the players, not allowing them to build that rhythm and that speed. I thought that just towards the end, Nat Bomberto almost sensed that, and you could see she was trying to resurrect the pace and the direction of the game. So I thought she brought a new intensity to the close of the game, and perhaps that's something that'll be discussed in the break about finishing the match off with a level of intensity and addressing keeping errors to a minimum and the pace up, the scoring rate up.
Well, the Aussie fans look like they're enjoying themselves. Norma Plummer's still not happy. You can see she's very dynamic in the team talk. She wants more.
You could also see the wing attack patches on Chelsea Pittman, so she might be re-entering the game at wing attack.
Welcome back. 62-24 in favour of Australia over Northern Ireland here at the indoor stadium in Singapore. These fans are having a whale of a time. I must say the event organisers have done a fantastic job. Whether you're aware of it or not, there are games being played simultaneously here in this vast stadium, which was built in 1989 and has hosted people like Elton John and the Rolling Stones, to Pete Sampras playing tennis. It's a fantastic venue. And there's not another game on the other court at the moment, but there are sometimes, and it caters for the fans so well.
Is that why the Kiwis have worn rock star outfits? Gee, they glitter. It's a performance outfit, the New Zealand strip, and you'll see that in the not too distant future. I'm just taking a quick look at the quarter breakdowns. Australia with a dominant start, 22-8 in the first quarter. Continue their scoring rate into the second, but just took the foot off a little bit in that third. 17-11 the quarter score then. Changes for Australia. Chelsea Pittman returns to the court. She started the match at wing attack. Green replaced her at three-quarter time, but Pittman back on for this final quarter at wing attack, and a few more for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, 3, not surprisingly, because of the pace of this match. It's so difficult for them against the Australians, and Lennon's been out there all the time. She's still there. Frances Campbell has come back to goal defence. Laura Mason, now she's very interesting. She's 155 centimetres, and she's at wing attack. So she's the smallest player probably in this whole tournament. 5'2". Lisa McCaffrey at wing defence for Northern Ireland.
Interesting, Australia has been, statistically, is the tallest team at this event. I actually thought that would have gone to New Zealand, but I think our mid-court just hold a few centimetres up there and keep them up there. So across the board, Australia the tallest team at this event.
Well, have a look at Mason when she touches the ball. She's absolutely tiny. She's marking up against Monia Gerard. And there she is. She's a little jack in the box. She's got the ball now. And she's the smallest player on the court by a long chalk. So the Aussies trying to work for their first goal in this quarter and finding it pretty hard to score.
Well, Nat Met has put under some pressure then with the feed from Pittman. It was the more difficult of the two choices.
Yes.
Ireland ranked 11th in the world, have risen from 19 under the coaching of Elaine Rice, their coach. And Australia were number 1, now slipped to number 2. New Zealand, of course, taking that pedestal.
Gerard just doing a little bit of measurement there. I think trying to place the thought in Teresa Prince's mind that she probably was 0.9 metres away.
Lennon's 23rd goal out of 30.
Oh, beautiful work, shooter to shooter. Pittman nearly landed in the circle as well, and she can shoot as well. I don't know that Australia will go there, but she is another alternative for them, but she nearly ended up in the circle. So quick was the drive in, but lovely shooter to shooter play.
Just a word for Bell in her second international, shooting at 85%, 11 goals. Little Paula Mason dishing it off.
Well, that's a tough call on Monia Gerard. Now, Teresa Prince was right on the baseline, just on the O of Mission Foods, and she was behind Gerard and made a call on distance when Gerard was over a tiny player. So the positioning pretty poor to make that call. It's a tough one for the umpires. They've got to swing backwards and stay ahead and open to the play on all angles, but she'd committed so heavily in the baseline.
Distraction, goalkeeper.
It wasn't that great interchange of passing by the Australians. So quick, almost instinctive.
Von Berto just stepping into that centre circle as the whistle was going.
Advantage offside centre. Contact goal defence, pass a shot. Yes.
Erin Bell completes the formalities, 64-26. McCulloch.
Centre, offside, free pass. Yes.
The whip-like turn from Monia Gerard then, waiting to see. It's not me, is it? Not me you're calling.
Well, Nat Von Berto was waiting for Erin Bell to run onto it, and she did. But it took a little bit longer than they wanted, and they lost it. There's Mason.
Oh, great work from Chelsea Pittman. I'll have to query that call. Chelsea Pittman was given a bit of assistance on that. She wasn't allowed landing space, and that's causing a contact. There is a rule that alludes to if one player doesn't allow landing space to the other, it's setting up a contact. She went up, and I don't know about that one.
McCaffrey, I think, was at fault.
Yeah, had to relinquish the space.
Lennon picking up the crumbs.
Obstruction, penalty. Both players, defence.
Monia Gerard off camera is just directing traffic for the umpire a little. I shouldn't laugh. It's probably not a good example.
Well, Geitz nearly got it, but McCulloch finishes it off. And the Irish now up to 27 goals. A record for them.
I think there's an element of frustration about this game for the Diamonds in terms of the umpiring interpretations and the whistle, so a bit of a frustrating day in the office. You can see on their faces that they really do want to bring this home well. There is a commitment to finishing the game. You see, as soon as there's a turnover, you see Gerard eyes light up and they want to push it down and finish it.
I reckon it's their Gaelic football background. They're good at spoiling. They're rough and tough and like to get in there and like tenacious terriers. Oh, good little pass from Mason to Lennon.
Oh, great shot. Pretty passage from Northern Ireland. She's proving elusive, Mason. Difficult to defend a smaller player at times.
Good anticipation with the pass from Medhurst to Bell. 66. And Bell has 13 goals now at 87%.
Australia setting up some offline defence so that their back line can come out and fly at it. Beautifully read by Coletto. The four of them, Bomberto, Gerard, Coletto, Geitz, setting up the formation, playing space, and the pressure allowed Geitz to view that long ball and come out cleanly. Sorry, Coletto, and view the long ball and come out. You see it there coming out of the formation.
Ambitious pass it was from Mason. They've got to do this now to try and combat these Australians. Got to be a little bit ambitious. Medhurst at her favourite shooting range has that lovely trajectory on the shot. And gives them a 40-goal advantage with 8 minutes to go.
8-4, the quarter breakdown. Halfway through the last quarter, good work from Bomberto.
Australia's not going to make 91, which New Zealand did in their last match.
Not necessary.
Advantage, obstruction by the tackle, shoot, advantage.
New Zealand beating Wales in that previous match.
Contact on the ball, keeper.
91-21. England beat Barbados 74-42. And Samoa just beat Sri Lanka 57-53. If you missed those scores earlier on.
Obstruction, goal defence. Contact. Goal defence. Penalty or
Oh. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but it worked. A hand in there from the defender. Oh, using the post.
Clever use of the post. Quite legal, and it delights the crowd, and it pleases Northern Ireland. Saw the Australian defenders sit a little back off the line and made them pay with the sneaky little off-the-post offload.
Kyla Bowman it was, with that clever little play.
Enjoyed it once, you probably won't get away with it the second time. But one of the skills of the game to employ.
Still the 40-goal advantage being maintained at 70-30. Hanlon smuggles the ball to Lennon.
Oh, again, good work at the back of the Australian defenders.
Well, Geitz had it.
It was an awkward challenge from McCulloch, almost forcing an injury there.
Quick passing, Gerard getting it to Bell. Back into Bomberto. Bell spots Pittman on the far side.
Bell setting up a lovely screen. She rolls off that, takes it herself and adds another to her tally. It's been a neat performance from Erin Bell, 14 from 16. She's at 88%. Medhurst just the one misses at 93. None of the Australian shooters shabby. Been a good outing for them.
Of course, Erin Bell used to be a shooter, wasn't she? And she now, in the ANZ series, seems to play at wing attack, doesn't she?
Oh, no, she moved. When she went to the Thunderbirds, she was playing at wing attack. Then she moved back into goal attack by the end of the season, and she's back in the shooting role now. Beaten on the wing attack players alongside her. And Borrego, who is a Jamaican player, has been a fixture at the back of their line. Borrego, I'm sure Jamaica would love to have in their line. but she's quite happy in the role she plays. She hasn't been in Jamaica for several years. She's been offshore playing basketball, but she's really comfortable playing in the Adelaide line for the Trans-Tasman competition.
Nice shot from McCulloch. Takes the Irish score over 30, 31 to them now. This is an encouraging performance for them. Mason everywhere. Little jack in the box. That shot well short, but McCulloch gets another chance. Third time lucky. The aerial route.
It's 12-8, the quarter score, so a good finish from Northern Ireland.
Yes. Vantage, obstruction, goal attack. Vantage, obstruction, centre, wing defence.
There's no easy target there, as there was with Bassett in the first half.
No, that's the difference. Bell working hard on the screen, though, and defending her defender so she can open onto the ball. Doesn't drop for the Diamonds.
Bad luck for Bell. Hanlon, Mason, McCulloch looking for Lennon. It's off the hands of Geitz. Irish ball.
Just heard somebody in the crowd say, watch the post. Sense of humour.
Contact, penalty, centre.
It's playing well, the post.
Yes.
Yes, Geitz again. She's up to 8 intercepts now. That'll be her 9th, in fact.
Contact, goalkeeper, pass a shot. Yes.
Lovely work from Erin Bell. She's now got 16 goals at 84%.
Obstruction, goalkeeper. Pass a shot. Yes, shooter.
Lennon's worked hard right throughout this match, hasn't been replaced at all. Mania Gerard, good pick up. Oh, look at the passing. Oh, bad luck. It looked so good coming from different angles.
Goal line. Yes.
26 turnovers against Australia. 27 with that last one from Corletto. 30 turnovers credited against Northern Ireland. Turnover being a negative stat. Ball wasted, ball spoiled.
Vantage, obstruction, wing. Obstruction, wing attack and offside.
Well, this is only going to be a record. Australia will win this match, but the record will go to Ireland, who've never scored more than 23 goals in a test match against Australia, and they've certainly eclipsed that. Australia won't reach that 93, I should say, that they had in 1963, because there's only a minute and 20 seconds to go. So it's been an encouraging effort from the Irish. It looked like they were going to be absolutely thrashed in the first quarter, but they showed guts and determination. Lennon being proactive, coming way outside the circle. She's certainly fit. Little Paula Mason. There's that long pass that's pretty ambitious because Mania Gerard just towering over her opponent, able to intercept it.
Contact wing.
Great shot from Bowman. She's been pretty quiet in the shooting department all game. Not a happy statistic at 57%, but nailing that long-range shot. She'll leave the court feeling a bit better about it.
Julie Corletto, a word of compliment to her too. She's had 4 intercepts and 7 deflections.
Yes. Vantage, obstruction, we attack. Vantage,
Time
obstruction, we
running down, and it's going to be the last shot. Kath Cox, the whistle goes as she puts it into the air. I beg your pardon, it was Erin Bell, not Kath Cox. I was kept looking at the clock and not at the goal who shot it, the girl who shot it. So Bell finishes with 16 goals from 19 for 84%. And overall, Australia shot 94%, which is tremendous. In their tally of 75 goals to Northern Ireland's 33, who shot at 66%. But another win to Australia, and they will definitely go through now to the quarterfinal.
This program brought to you by the